everyone knows there's too much TV.
How much TV is there, Cameron?
Well, according to her name's Lucia Recalde. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, as I probably am. This is the European Commission. Um, she calculated how long it would take to watch everything on every streaming service at present. I think this may include films, I guess, but she
Okay.
does make a note that it does not include things like video games or any of that kind of interactive stuff. And by her calculations, it would take a person 350 years.
Oh my gosh. Considering TV has existed for like what, 80 years?
Yeah, right. So much of this is recent, of course, and the real boom in the streaming era, and that's part of what people refer to as peak TV.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't know if you ever had this experience. I recall one time standing in my college library as an undergraduate, and I'm in like the eighth floor of this library, and I'm looking around and thinking, if I started right now, I could probably not finish every book on this floor before I
Yeah,
died,
that's
you
right.
know? So it's not the worst thing. And if we're thinking about TV, of course, a lot of it's not good.
No,
Not
no.
to be
Why
too
would
harsh, but
why would you want to? Yeah,
um, I don't know. I don't, there's no way to quickly apply some kind of standard to try to say, well, how many years would it take you to watch the things that are worth your time? But that note's worth making, and maybe that relates to the thing that you had on this, where the Sony
yeah.
guy, Wayne
As
Garvey,
we
what he was saying.
progress down the road of peak TV, this has been something that all the studios, all of the streamers, all of the production houses are looking at is, right, how much do we do? How much is too much? Are we oversaturating? And so I just found it interesting. This guy, his name is Wayne Garvey. He's the president of international productions at Sony Pictures, particularly the television side. He said that the end of peak TV, all this drama that's going on right now, sort of if it was to funnel down, be sort of diminish somewhat, quote, might be a good thing. So, that's interesting to say from someone whose job is to run a TV studio.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying maybe there's too much. There's, the paradox of choice. There is, you can't ever pick something. Things have been filtered to the point where they're just not quality anymore. And so, are we turning that corner? I don't know that the signs are there yet, but we might be.
Yeah, well, we hit on some stats however many weeks ago about a downtick in the number of new shows
Mhm.
produced. Although my note there was this is still a lot. I don't
Yeah.
recall the numbers off the top of my head. I don't know if they were at like the same conference or whatever. I kind of got that feeling. Maybe they were, that was the source for both of these stories. But it's worth thinking about. Yeah, maybe they're making less shows. Look, from a certain point of view, I would want to argue that that would be good
Yeah. Yeah.
to put the resources in the right places
Yeah.
to produce things that are worth watching and so on and so forth. But my worry, and I know we've talked about this before, is
Yeah.
whether it'll work out in the other direction, where less shows means taking less chances,
Yeah.
taking less risks, um, focusing more and more on things that are established IP, and which might be fine. I'm not saying that everything that's an adaptation is bad or anything, but um certainly my favorite things personally end up not being that. They end up being like Severance,
Yeah.
Yellow Jackets, things that really seem a bit more kind of novel, original, and maybe a bit more risky. So
Yeah, and that's one
um
thing I think we risk losing as streamers are inevitably consolidating as things move into fewer and fewer platforms. These risks that are willing to be taken, as you put it, without some of these big risks and swings that could end up in strikeouts. Just think about the past 15 years, we wouldn't have had things like Breaking Bad or The Curse or other things like that many people passed on, but eventually someone said, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we all benefit from that. So yeah, it's a tough thing to try to figure out one way or the other.
yeah, Breaking Bad remains this interesting example because It was apparently really hard for them to get. They were shopping it around everywhere. It was finally AMC was willing to take a chance on it. And then it didn't do super well at first, but once it got to
Yeah.
Netflix streaming, it built momentum, by the time it became very widely watched by the time it
Oh,
ended. And you have to wonder, would that happen anymore? Or
yeah,
would it just,
exactly.
even if it got a chance, would it just get canceled after two seasons or one season or what have you? But we'll try not to be too pessimistic.